Sometimes, the strongest heroes are the ones nobody notices. Like the quiet man who mops the floors after everyone goes home, the man people walk past without seeing, never realizing the storms he has already survived. But on one unforgettable afternoon, inside a military hospital hallway, a single dad janitor shocked everyone, especially his little daughter, when 5 furious men charged toward a terrified young soldier, and she ran straight to him screaming, "Daddy, please stop them." What happened next changed the lives of everyone who witnessed it. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Diaries, where we share powerful, real-feeling stories that remind us why kindness still matters. Drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and help us spread these messages across the world. Ethan Carson was the kind of man most people underestimated. A single father, widowed too young, working janitorial shifts at the Naval Medical Center just to keep food on the table for his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. He never complained. He never boasted. He just worked, quietly, faithfully, every single day. But what no one knew was that Ethan wasn't always a janitor. Years ago, he'd been one of the Navy's most respected hand-to-hand combat instructors. A man who trained warriors but walked away from the life he loved after his wife passed away. He chose fatherhood over medals. Lily became his entire world. On that day, Ethan arrived early for his shift. The hallway lights were bright, the building mostly calm. Lily held her little bunny plush in her arms, waiting for her dad to finish mopping the West Wing before he dropped her off at the childcare room. "Daddy?" she asked, tugging at his sleeve. "Is Mommy watching us today?" Ethan smiled softly, brushing a lock of blonde hair from her eyes. "I think she's watching us every day, sweetheart." Just then, a loud alarmed shout cut through the hallway. A young female soldier, barely in her 20s, was sprinting toward them, fear carved into her face. Behind her, 5 huge men in black tactical shirts charged down the corridor like a pack of bulls. Lily froze. Ethan looked up from his mop. And the young soldier screamed, breathless, "Help! They're coming after me." Ethan didn't know why, but he didn't need details. He could see the terror in the woman's eyes. He could see the rage in the men chasing her. And he could feel his daughter trembling behind his leg. Time slowed. Then Lily's tiny voice broke through the chaos. "Daddy, please stop them." Ethan didn't hesitate. He gently pushed Lily behind him, positioned her near the wall, and stepped forward, calm, silent, controlled. It was like the old version of him had awakened from years of sleep. The first man reached him, shouting something Ethan didn't even process. He raised his fists, ready to shove Ethan aside. Ethan moved faster. A simple wrist lock. A shift of weight. A sweep of the leg. And the huge man crashed to the floor. The second attacker lunged. Ethan sidestepped, grabbed the man's momentum, and sent him slamming into the wall with a painful grunt. The third swung wildly. Ethan ducked, lifted the mop handle like a staff, and tapped the man behind the knee. The man crumpled instantly, shocked and wheezing. Lily watched with wide, astonished eyes as her quiet, gentle father, her superhero, took down grown men twice his size with barely any effort. "Daddy," she whispered, hugging her bunny tight. "You're magic." The fourth and fifth men slowed, suddenly unsure. They circled Ethan with caution now, no longer charging blindly. They hadn't expected resistance, especially not from a janitor. Ethan stood solid, never raising his voice, never breaking composure. "This ends now," he said. "Stand down." But one of them snarled and charged again. Ethan stepped aside, caught the man's arm, and pinned him to the floor with a technique so smooth it looked like choreography. By the time security arrived, all 5 attackers were groaning on the ground. The young soldier collapsed against the wall, shaking with relief. And Lily ran into Ethan's arms, burying her face in his chest. "You're safe," he whispered. "I've got you." Within minutes, the hallway filled with officers, med staff, security personnel, and confused witnesses. Then, like the sea parting, an older couple pushed through the crowd. The man wore a sharply pressed admiral's uniform. The woman, elegant but stern, walked with controlled urgency. Everyone went silent. The admiral's eyes widened when he saw the young female soldier, his daughter, still trembling with shock. "Emily," he gasped. She ran to him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Dad, they were taking me. I didn't know what to do. I ran." The admiral wrapped her in a fierce hug, relief washing over him. Then Emily pointed at Ethan. "He saved me," she said. "If he wasn't here. I don't even want to think about it." All eyes turned to Ethan. The janitor. The widowed father. The man who blended into the background every day. The admiral stepped forward and extended his hand, but Ethan shook his head shyly. "I'm just glad she's okay, sir." But the admiral kept his hand out, insisting. "No," he said firmly. "You're not just anything. You protected my daughter when you had no reason to. That deserves recognition." Lily peeked from behind Ethan, still clutching her bunny. The admiral knelt down to her level. "Your daddy is a hero," he told her gently. Lily nodded with pride. "I know." Over the next hour, after investigations and witnesses stepped forward, the truth unfolded. The 5 men weren't rogue military. They were part of a private security unit whose commander had been abusing authority for months, silencing complaints with threats and intimidation. Emily, the young soldier Ethan saved, had filed a report about misconduct. These men had cornered her to scare her into withdrawing it. But she chose to run. And kindness, pure, instinctive kindness, put Ethan in her path. Security began escorting the men away in handcuffs. The admiral listened to the entire briefing, then marched straight back to Ethan. "You were one of ours once, weren't you?" he asked quietly. Ethan hesitated. "I used to train recruits, years back." The admiral nodded, understanding more than Ethan said. "You walked away from service for your daughter?" "I had no choice," Ethan admitted. "She needed me." Lily slipped her hand into his. "And he's the best daddy ever," she added proudly. The admiral smiled warmly. "You did right by her. And today, you did right by mine." Then something unexpected happened. The admiral's wife stepped forward. She studied Ethan with soft eyes filled with gratitude. "No parent forgets the person who protects their child," she said. "If you ever need anything, anything at all, our family is here for you." Ethan didn't know what to say. He'd never expected thanks. He'd never expected attention. He certainly didn't expect what came next. The admiral invited Ethan and Lily to have lunch with his family the next day. At first Ethan resisted, he didn't want to impose, but Lily tugged his hand. "Please, Daddy. I want to see Emily again." So they went. It was simple, warm, full of laughter and gratitude. Emily hugged Ethan twice, at least. The admiral's wife brought Lily a brand new bunny plush, saying, "No brave girl should have just won." Over the next week, something else happened, something Ethan never imagined. The admiral submitted a commendation on Ethan's behalf. His story spread quietly through the base. People who once ignored him now smiled, waved, thanked him. But the most touching moment came one evening when Ethan picked up Lily from the childcare center. Emily stood there waiting. She handed Ethan a small envelope. Inside was a simple note. "For your kindness, your bravery, and your heart. The Navy always remembers its own." Along with it was a certificate restoring Ethan's honorary service status, something symbolic, but deeply meaningful. Ethan blinked hard, holding back tears. Emily placed a hand on his arm and said, "You didn't just save me.